Piers. "I'll fetch the suitcase from the van," Del whispered to himself, a small, knowing smile on his face. Because in Peckham, the seasons might change and the tides might turn, but a trotter always has one more card to play. "Mange tout, Rodney," Del muttered, raising his glass of cognac. "Mange tout." Chapter 26. The Peckham Open. The communal hallway of Nelson Mandela House had been transformed into what Del called an urban combat theater. In reality, it was a collection of empty cardboard boxes, discarded washing machines, and several miles of yellow tactical tape that Del had acquired from a confused road worker. "Right then, listen up," Del shouted, standing on a crate of bottled water. He was wearing a headband made from an old tie and a camouflage vest that was clearly 3 sizes too small. "Welcome to the inaugural Peckham Open. This is where the men are separated from the boys, and the boys are marked for life by high-intensity poultry sexing technology." The participants were a diverse group. There was Trigger, wearing a high-visibility jacket for no apparent reason, Denzel, who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else, Mickey Piers, who had actually brought his own camouflage face paint, and 3 bewildered accountancy students that Rodney had lured in from the local library. "The rules are simple," Rodney added, trying to maintain an air of professional authority despite the Spartacus tunic he was still stubbornly wearing. "If you get hit by a laser, you're out. The scanner will emit a high-pitched beep to signify a confirmed mark." Actually, one of the students noted, the device is emitting a chirping sound and the screen says "pull it." "That's a tactical code," Del interjected quickly. "Pull it means point under lethal laser engagement target. Now, let the games begin." He blew a whistle, and the hallway erupted into chaos. Trigger immediately took cover behind a recycling bin and accidentally scanned himself, resulting in a series of frantic beeps that informed the entire floor he was a great cockerel. Chapter 27. Friendly Fire. The battle raged for 30 minutes. Mickey Piers was surprisingly agile, diving over boxes and tagging anyone who moved. However, the machine's original programming began to interfere with the combat simulation. "Del," Denzel yelled, pinned down behind a sofa, "my gun keeps saying I'm underweight. It won't fire." "Shake it, Denzel. It's the haptic feedback calibrating," Del yelled back, while trying to flank the accounting students. The chaos reached its peak when the hallway door opened and an elderly neighbor, Mrs. Jiddings, walked in carrying a bag of shopping. "Excuse me, Derek," she said, looking at the camouflage-clad men rolling around on the floor. "The lift is broken again." "Not now, Mrs. Jiddings," Del hissed, peeking out from behind a washing machine. "Can't you see we're in the middle of a high-stakes tactical exercise?" Suddenly, a red laser dot appeared on Mrs. Jiddings' forehead. Mickey Piers had made his move. The device let out a triumphant chirp. Target identified, Mickey shouted. Confirmed mark. Mrs. Jittings looked at the screen of Mickey's device. It says ready for slaughter. What does that mean? Derek. It's a metaphor, Mrs. Jittings. Rodney cried, running over to apologize. It just means you've won the round. Congratulations. He frantically gestured for everyone to stop. The first Peckham Open had officially descended into a neighborhood relations disaster. Chapter 28, The Boyke Intervention. I must say, Derek, a familiar, mocking voice drawled from the entrance. The Sats really have let their standards slip. Boyke was standing at the edge of the theater, leaning against the doorframe and looking profoundly unimpressed. Beside him, Marlene was stifling a laugh. Ah, Boyke, Dell said, standing up and trying to look dignified while covered in dust and tactical tape. Good to see you. We're just finishing up a demonstration of the Trotter tactical system. High-level stuff. We've got interest from several private security firms. Boyke walked over to a discarded poultry sexer and picked it up. And how exactly is this supposed to secure anything other than a local supply of eggs? It's the psychological impact, Boyke, Dell insisted. The red dot, the chirping. It strikes fear into the hearts of the enemy. It strikes fear into the hearts of anyone with a basic understanding of electronics. Boyke laughed. I'll tell you what, Dell, I've got a lot of scrap metal at the yard. If you want to dump these there, I'll give you a $5 for the lot. A $5? Boyke, I've got 30 entries at 20 quid each. That's 600 pounds in one afternoon. Minus the cost of the tape, Rodney whispered, and the repairs to Mrs. Jittings' dignity. Ignore him, Dell snapped. The phoenix is rising, Boyke, whether you like it or not. Chapter 29, The Accounting. That night, the flat was quiet. The cardboard boxes had been cleared, and the poultry sexers were back under the sofa. Rodney sat at the table with the gold Rush 1-pound coin, spinning it slowly. 600 pounds, Dell, Rodney said. It's a start, but we still owe over 48,000. Dell sat across from him, sipping a glass of cheap brandy. He looked tired, but the spark in his eyes hadn't faded. Rome wasn't built in a day, Rodney, and the Trotter Empire won't be rebuilt in a weekend. But we're moving. We're trading. I was thinking about what you said on the balcony, Rodney said. About Mom. Do you really think she'd be proud of us? Rolling around in a hallway with chicken grating machines? Dell looked at the picture of their mother on the mantelpiece. She'd be proud that we never gave up, Rodney. She knew what it was like to struggle. She knew that sometimes you have to be a bit creative to survive. He reached out and stopped the coin. It was heads. See? Dell smiled. The gods of commerce are smiling on us again. This time next year. Millionaires, Rodney finished for him. This time, he didn't say it with a sigh. He said it with a small, cautious hope. Chapter 30, Final reflection.